Hello everyone, Morgan Merrill with MM Beauty. Thank you so much for watching UCast. Today I am joined by one of my favorite local Sacramento makeup artists, Ernesto, and we will get to hear how he and I met and a lot about Ernesto today. He is going to share with us information on how to apply your lashes by yourself at home. And then he's going to share with us some great new additions that he's going to have to his upcoming lash line. So thank you so much, Ernesto, for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. So yes, my name is Ernesto Robledo. I am a local makeup artist here in Sacramento. I've been doing this for now almost 12 years. I started in the music video industry and I just jumped.
Were you a video vixen?
I was. And then they're like, we need a makeup artist. And I'm like, I guess. Take
off the booty shorts and put on the makeup belt.
Yes. Showing my little belly ring. It was so cute. But yeah, so I graduated from Sac State in 2007, and that's when the economy was really bad, so then I couldn't get a job. And then what was next was, let's try and do makeup. I learned rendering by hand and computer, so I feel like that gave me a hands up on makeup and understanding that better in color theory and whatnot. So again, I just put a Craigslist ad out there, and somebody hit me up for a music video, and it was just like snowballing from there. And then from there, I met a wedding photographer who suggested or asked me if I did makeup for weddings, and I said, of course, which I didn't. But that was a whole new way of doing makeup. So learned that, and then it was just ongoing referrals after referrals from that. And then about 7 years ago, I got into more editorial and fashion, which I've always loved. But that's kind of when I start focusing into what I'm presently doing. I still do a lot of bridal. That's like my number one thing, but I do a lot of editorial and beauty work. A lot more now, which is great. Yeah, and so I'm hoping that to sign soon with an agency so that I can even keep doing that more.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's interesting that I actually read your little bio on your website before we popped on, and I was like, oh, I didn't know. I knew you went to Sacramento State, or Sac State, but I didn't know what you actually majored in. So you have your degree in interior architectural design, correct? Yeah.
Correct.
Which makes, so if you guys, when you guys go and check out Ernesto's Instagram or website, which he'll share with us later, he does beautiful beauty work, beautiful bridal work. If I could only achieve his expertise on skin, but he does a lot. You do a lot of like really graphic, or you're very good at like
or not some asymmetrical and more structural.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, I didn't even think about that. When you take interior design, two of the courses that you take is graphics, and you learn all about shapes and how you have a blank space, and with everything you shade color in. Kind of like, remember how Rochard told us like how he like sees light and everything like that? It's kind of the same concept. And then you would have to do like the same picture like 20 different times, 20 different ways. So that you have the understanding. And I mean, I've always been like kind of interested in curling hair or like shaping eyebrows, but I never really thought about doing like beauty school. It's just not my thing. I think it's a waste of time when somebody's going to teach you art. I mean, I get that you are going to learn about cleanliness and all of that. And I was like, oh, this is so much fun. So he kind of gave me like, kind of opened up my eyes to this whole new world. And so I went to this one particular shoot and I assisted, and I was like, oh my God, this is so much fun. I can totally do this, And so came back home, had two friends here, of course, male friends. And so they always wanted to get their makeup done. So I started getting into drag makeup and practicing on them. And because I would call my girlfriends from school and they're like, oh no, you're going to make me look like a ugly Mexican quinceañera. And I'm like, that's not nice. So we always had that stigma about makeup artists and Mexicans and blue eyeshadow. I don't know what it is. I hardly ever do blue eyeshadow. I talk people out of it, but that's the stigma.
And I'd love to hear your journey from, 4 years ago or whenever you started your lash line to kind of where you are today, and what preempted you to bring those on.
So I'm a big fan for eyelashes. I'm a strong believer that every makeup is much stronger with a good pair of lashes. So we all know those, false cheap lashes that you are like $1.99 or 99 cents if you're lucky. I used to use them all the time. I had a supplier out in LA, and he knew that I had a design background. So he's like, hey, why don't you design your own lashes? Because it's like the new thing to do. And I'm like, oh, that sounds kind of fun, but I never really thought about it. So coming back to Sacramento, I was, I kept seeing like Livy lashes popping up, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Mink lashes, never heard, And so I'm like doing the research and everything, and I'm like, wow, $38 a pair. That's a lot of money for me to buy and then tack it on to my client. And then I had like a few clients that would bring them. And that's how I first kind of started educating myself on the product itself and seeing it firsthand. The line has been out for 4 years, but I was working on it for about 9 months before I actually came out with it and released it. So I sketched out all my designs. I started out with like 19 different designs, and they were mailed out to me. And then every single one I started editing. And so it was like sending in a Zoom version and cross-hatching or bundling or whatever it was that I liked and didn't like. So I would make all those notes and send them out. And mind you not, when you are dealing with somebody overseas and in China, the times are different. Obviously, the languages are different. So even using translators and stuff like that was very confusing. So it was really hard to get your point across and everything. So I felt like drawing things made more sense to me because everybody is visual, kind of understands that way. Still have the 12 designs. I came out this last year with a second line, which is this, but just a reverse color. So it's just a black box with the similar shades. And there's 6 designs there.
What's the components of all of that? Because there are like, I have used your lashes, they're beautiful. But I use like Ardell's usually, or what's the other one? Kiss Me lashes or something like that. And I noticed they apply weird. So what is it for you that was like the perfect lash that you were looking for?
For me, I mean, how can I say it? So for me, like a shiny lash is not a good lash. It reflects too much, especially when you work in studio lighting and whatnot. There's so much reflection. So that's one of the things that I didn't want to have on my lash. A little shine is okay, but some of these false lashes are super shiny, and you can clock them away. Like you can be like, oh my god, that's a fake lash right away. I really wanted to concentrate on being able to do lashes that were fluffy, not so straight. I don't think I have, no, I don't have any. So I'll show you. I don't know if it'll pick it up on here, but it's all about dimension. So when you see the side shot, there is just one sweep. There's different sweeps. Sometimes the hairs come down, and that gives it more of a natural look. And that's what the industry was doing. And I'm like, oh, I'm going for it. Like, this is what I love. So I wanted to create also something that bands, like a lot of companies were creating clear bands, which is great because you don't have like a black line. But for me, I felt like doing a cotton band in black helps you, the person, if you don't know how to do your eyeliner, it helps with giving you that illusion of an eyeliner. A clear band is cool. Some companies tie them, which I find that they tend to fall apart that direction, but they're cool. You're not trying to buy another pair. I'm like, they're only $18. Come on. Yeah, so you can reuse them multiple times and apply mascara. But 9 out of 10 times, I'll curl the lash. I'll do the eyeliner, curl the lash, apply the false lash, and then with a fan brush, apply the mascara. Now, I know how to do that to the point where it doesn't get too much product onto my false lash. So that's one of the things that'll keep it, like wear it out faster. So the more product you get into it, the more you're gonna have to brush to clean it, and that's gonna just damage the hair. So you just have to be very careful with that. But what I recommend for my clients is always curl your own eyelash, put mascara, preferably waterproof, so that your lashes stay curly, and then apply the falsies on there. When you take them off, there will be a little bit of glue residue. Just hold the hairs with your fingers and then lightly start pinching off away, or roll the glue with your finger. And then once you're done with that, if you did get any product, you'll be able to notice because they'll be a little stiffer. Just run a spoolie down and that'll brush it down and that'll be good. You can use a little bit of alcohol because it won't stay on the hair and get it wet, and then the hair can go everywhere. But you can use a little bit of alcohol to help break down the mascara. And then you have to sit there and curl it by hand, every single strand, using this or a flat tweezer to be able to do that. It's a lot of work, and I still do it when the lashes come in and I do quality control. I have to sit there with my candle and heating up the curler and literally making sure that both pairs look very similar.
But what has kept you doing this? This is a very challenging career. There's a lot going in, especially a worldwide pandemic, recessions, things like that. So what has been something that's kind of just kept you in the game and inspired?
Well, the fact that I can still work on myself. I know a lot of makeup artists can do makeup, but cannot do makeup on themselves. And it's fine. But the fact that I can has kept me a little bit sane. And I feel like even though I wasn't able to paint faces, or I'm still not able to paint faces, and I'm going to be doing my eyeliner and mascara. So one of the biggest things that I've always been a fan on is quick drying, black eyeliner and mascara. I know from being in the industry for this long, I know exactly what we're looking for. So I'm gonna produce something that I like to use as a professional, but that I also I can educate my client on using and why.
I know you have a lot of inspiration, but what are some people that have been a mentor to you and has provided you with inspiration?
People that I looked up to is Lisa Eldridge. I'm absolutely like fascinated with her work. Like, she's been doing this for years and years and years. And Bobbi Brown, like, I think probably that was like my first set of brushes was from Bobbi Brown, and it was a gift. I love that motto, like, just like less is more, make you look, just a little dolled up. Doesn't have to be too much. And I love glamming people up, but my thing is just, I always hear every time I finish a client's like, I look like myself. I don't feel like I have a lot of makeup, and I love it. Like, that's exactly what I want. And I was fortunate enough to meet her, I want to say 4 years ago.
4 years ago?
Was it 4 years ago?
Yes.
That's when we met.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and and everybody starts like, oh my God, and like she pulls out a validated pin, which just means she's keeping an eye on you. Your work is great. So I'm like, oh my God. So I drop to the floor and I start bawling like a little girl. And so I hug her, and she's just super sweet, who I got to meet and talk and hang out with for like 3 years in a row, and learn so much from him, just visually, just from seeing his classes and his presentations. And it's so like eye-opening, because sometimes you're like, oh, I was doing that, but I wasn't doing it right.
All right, so Ernesto is going to show us now how you can apply your lashes by yourself at home if you don't have access to one of us fabulous makeup artists to come and do that for you. Mm-hmm. Take it away, Ernesto.
So I always tell people, we're usually just pull the lash, and we know how to do that. No. So I recommend get your tweezers. Any pair of tweezers works, but if you are buying my lashes, you just might head over and pick up my tweezers. You grab your lashes. To be able to take them off the package, people pull the hair. I recommend not to do that until you lift it from the outer edge. Once you lift it from the outer edge, then go ahead and take it off. Then the next thing is, obviously, I like to start out with, you're probably gonna cut out more, but cut off these little edges here. And every eyelash is made extra long, so that, it accommodates all types of eyes. But we're gonna have to cut them. So I already have a pair, and I'm gonna cheat, but I'll show you with this one. So what I do next is I'm trying to figure out like where you
No,
can see
you're
it.
good.
Okay.
Mhm.
So the curve of the tweezer is towards the band, which is towards your eye. So all I'm gonna do now is, hopefully I can do this while I look and check in the mirror, is I hold a mirror down here. A lot of people try to do makeup or do their makeup and then they go to apply the false lashes. Not everybody has the room up here. Some people have a hooded lid, and you're not going to have the room to be able to do this and straight into the mirror. So the best option is hold your little mirror down here, compact, and then you're just going to lightly kind of eyeball it, center to your eyelid, and just place it. It has glue from the packaging already, but just place it so you can see if it's too long, too short, if it's poking in the center of the eye. So you'll be able to see it here. And for the most part, the lashes fit almost every single eye shape without having to trim them, with the exception of, unless you're like more mature and there's just extra fold on the outer part of the eye, then that's where you're gonna have to trim it off so it's not poking you and being uncomfortable. So anyway, so if it's too long, you trim from the outer end. Now, there's different styles of lashes, and I'll show you guys real quick. So this lash is, the design is center in the focus. So when you're gonna trim a lash like this, you gotta take a little bit from the front and a little bit from the back. If the lash has like a swoop at the very end, or a slight little wing, like this pair right here, then you cut from the outer portion of the eye. The reason why is because specific lashes fit specific eye shapes. And if you cut, like if it's center focus and you cut from the outer, then it's gonna shift the style and it's not gonna necessarily fit your eye if that's what you want. If you wanna wear a lash that's gonna complement your eye, and if you don't cut it the right way, then so
Why would someone have the center be the focus or the outer wing be the focus?
So the center portion of the eye, more of a focus is so that if you have downturn eyes, so the eyes that do this, we've all seen them, or they have the extra little lump here.
Morgan after a couple cocktails.
If you have the sleepy look, if you have a wing that pulls up, if that wing is too heavy, it's gonna even make this stand out more. So we want to balance. We want the focus. If your eye shape is more down or extreme hood like this, then you want to make sure that the focus is going to be here, so it helps lift this portion up. Not that it won't lift this, but you want to make sure that you take focus and you balance it. It's all about balancing the eye. If you have like feline, like this
Angelina,
look,
really.
yeah. So if you have this type of eye, you definitely want something that has a little bit of wing, but preferably more focus here, so that it, again, complements. Sometimes when you put a lash that has too much flare in the out, then it's going to pull your face too much back and it's going to make your eyes look inset and maybe a little cross-eyed. So you have to be really careful with that.
And then who would the wing ones be good for?
So what's that?
Who would the wing ones be good for?
People that have almond shape are great because then it'll give you that slight lift that you need. Monolid eyes also can benefit from that. And then on my website, I have an actual, like I did a bunch of research again, and I wrote down like I put celebrity artists, and people are like, what are you using celebrity for? I'm like, because people will actually, I could have used models, which would have been great, but a lot of people don't know who these models are. So at least you have a picture reference of like, oh, this is Angelina Jolie or Mila Kunis or whatever it may be, because then there's a reference. You're like, you know what she looks like, she's in the media, you know all that. So then you're like, oh, her eye shape kind of looks like mine. Let me go see what this is all about. You read, and then I give you information of like which styles of my lashes look best. And I also just give you some information in general, what lash styles or what we're trying to do with your eye to balance it. So
I love that.
once you've trimmed your lash and you make sure that it fits your eye or whatever, then we're gonna curl your lashes. I also have my lash curler, but any lash curler works. Again, I just wanted to keep on brand. There's nothing necessarily nothing special about it of mine. I did want to do one of the invisible ones. Have you seen those? Where it's, I think it's Urban Decay that has it, where it's just like this portion and it has a little hook and you crimp. It doesn't have like the edges, like the sides.
Mhm.
That's really cool because it gives you more flexibility. But girl,
It's hard to use.
it's really hard to use, and to manufacture that, yeah, no. So I like to heat up, just like you curl your hair with a curling iron. I heat up my curling iron or my curler, and this helps to disinfect. The only thing you have to be really careful is clearly not do this because you'll char your brow or your lashes. And I've heard the stories. So cool it off. And then again, put it in. Once you have the metal portion up against your eyeliner, where you would put your eyeliner, I just lightly close it first. So make sure that I'm not pinching my skin. And I give it the first pinch, but then I start turning my arm up into little crimps, usually about 3 crimps. I did like 100 there. You don't want to do too much because then your lashes get so curly that you can't drop a false lash in there. So you got to be careful. So again.
Look at how much that just opened up your eye right there. Is there anybody that maybe shouldn't curl their lashes? I typically recommend it for every single person in my chair, unless they have extremely curly lashes. But
so as we know, I find in that African American clients tend to have really curly lashes. I mean, they have really curly hair, so that kind of transposes to your lashes as well. So I did when I was first doing makeup, I did that. I curled one of my clients. She was African American. I'm like, oh, give it a little bit more curl, and I did, and I could not get the false lash in there, because then the lash was sitting on the curl and it looked whack. So I had to wet her lashes to relax the hair and then apply, let them dry and then apply. So if you have curly hair, which my melanin sisters have amazing lashes curled already, don't curl too much. But the trick really is heating up the curler. And the other trick is waterproof mascara. Go ahead and grab my favorite mascara as of right now until I come up with mine. Waterproof, that's all I use on clients. And I'm just going underneath, wiggle, wiggle.
anything on the top?
What's that?
Anything on the
Up
top?
here?
Or just,
No, because I'm gonna be applying the lashes and they're going on top, so you don't really need them.
So why would someone put mascara on prior to a lash? Couldn't they just plop the lash on without?
You can, but then there's a disconnect between your lash and the false lash because the false lash is so black. Now the issue with it when it comes to, why should I? Well, if you're blonde, you tend to have blonde lashes. If you're redhead, tend to have, lighter lashes. So this will just kind of hide that. I can't tell you how many times I find a dark lash and then like the waterline, it's like pink, like white pink. And there's such a disconnect. And it's like, you're like this the entire time. And it's kind of eerie to me. I always do the upper line in eyeliner, like underneath the eye, just because it floats. It feels like the lash is not connecting and you can spot it. But once you do the liner underneath, so I'm using latex-free glue. There's so many glues in the market. I find that glues that have latex in them smell terrible, and they take a little bit longer to dry. So I'm using my non-latex glue, which is good for those that have allergies. And I'm just gonna, normally you would just use this little wand because it's you and you're not sharing it with anybody else. But because I've already put these lashes on, I'm not going to. So I'm just applying the glue there. And I'm just going to dab it onto, and I'll show you. That's all the glue you want. You don't want too much. And then you're gonna let it sit for about 40 seconds before you apply it. Sometimes what I do is I'll apply the glue first and let it sit while I curl my lashes, put the mascara on, and by then it's already like 2 minutes. The glue is clear. And I just go right in, and there's no fussing, no budging, no nothing. Like it just falls right into place. Yeah, they're $18 online, free shipping. I have for those who are makeup artists and want a discount, I support that 100% because I'm always looking for a discount because I'm using it in the profession, not because I'm a makeup artist on myself. No, it doesn't work like that way. I do review the work, and then once I review your work, then I'll give you the discount. And then I do also have a wholesale program for people that have like storefronts and stuff. They want to have them there. And usually the center is going to be to the center of my pupil. So I would do this straight ahead, and then I'm trying to like get him centered to the camera.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to attach it to the center first. Then the tail, wiggle it so that you can get it right to the edge of the eye, and then the center part.
Now, some people ask, they always say, can you trim the lash? And why would you kind of poo-poo that? Like the length, not the width.
Yeah, because the length, they're natural. So these are made out of mink hair. Well, any hair really. They use the very tips of the hair because it gradually ends into a point. If you cut them, then they look choppy, and it's just not. So don't trim your lashes in length. Just get a shorter one. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can't have it all. Jesus. If you cut the edges, the outer parts, don't throw them away because you can build them out in the outer part of the eye. I actually, every time I cut my clients, I don't want them, I actually keep them. And I lay down a piece of tape, double-sided tape, and then I just lay them out. So I can use them for videos or whatever. So you can see, look at the difference between, and I have there's no eyeliner. You guys saw no eyeliner. But if you're up close, you can clock it that there is no eyeliner, and you can see the skin coming through a little bit. So I recommend just do a little bit of eyeliner but if you're in a rush, girl, just 2 minutes, boom, boom, done, let's go, you know? And again, center. But the trick, guys, is really going to be holding your mirror down here and looking down. That's gonna be the best way. And see how I'm kind of like dropping them down?
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing worse than a wonky eyelash. Just a tiny bit long, so it's starting to like droop my eye as opposed to this one. That's because I didn't trim it long enough, but there's tricks to that. So you would just have to disconnect and glue it above your line, just a little bit up, and it'll gluing. There we go.
Curling and heating your curling iron.
Curler, touching it to make sure you cool it so it doesn't like char your lashes, because it's happened. So once you do that, is preferably run your mascara. Your mascara should be, or it shouldn't be, but preferably waterproof so it doesn't transfer to the lashes themselves. And then once that's in place, then pull the lashes that you purchase, and then just place them onto your eye and kind of gauge to see if they're too long or not, and then trimming them. If they're longer in the center, trim from both end, from inner and outer part of the lash. If they're just a wispy lash on the outer end, then just trim the outer portion of the eye. This is bothering me.
So then how do you remove them? Because I get asked that a lot as well.
You keep them on. You keep them on until they fall. No, just kidding. So how do you remove them? All right, so you're gonna close your eyes, not too tight because then the ends are gonna poke. And then just grab the fibers, the hair fibers at the very outer tip, and then lightly pull, roll with the eye. So you remove them. So if you have a little bit of glue that's left on like the eyeliner or something that glue transfers onto, that's why I also like for you to wait about 40 seconds to a minute and a half for the glue to dry so it doesn't transfer onto your actual lashes. If you go in raw, like you apply it and then you go right in, you're gonna battle for a few seconds for it to like dry and get tacky, and it's gonna get all over. So if that's the case, just mix a little bit of olive oil or coconut oil and close your eyes, apply it to the areas where you have that, and let it sit for about 2 to 3 minutes. And then after that, you'll be able to like just pull off the glue with no problems.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for showing us that.
You're
Now we're going to kind of jump into the closing portions. All right. Well, thank you so much, Ernesto, for sharing all of your wisdom and showing us how to apply your lashes at home. And thank you so much for coming on and being one of my guinea pigs. This diva was a little nervous to come on, so I had to contact his publicist to come on. But as I've mentioned before, Ernesto, you are a brilliant makeup artist. I consider you one of my mentors. I've actually taken a lesson with you and learned so much. You and I actually met 4 years ago, I believe, 4 or 5 years ago. 4 years ago at a class in Portland, and we were one of the 3 Sacramento or 4 Sacramento people. And someone said, "Oh, this guy's from Sacramento." And I was like, oh, "Yay!" And so we just became instant friends. And then this last year we went.
And then we roomied for
this year.
Last year. That's November. That was.
And we went to the glass penis store. Ernesto took me to a glass penis store, and I got to.
That wasn't me. What are you talking about? And then we went. Where else did we go?
We went to he showed me some of your favorite thrift stores and secondhand stores in Portland.
Yummy restaurant. Yeah, our dinner at the City Grill was amazing.
Mm-hmm. That was delicious. Yeah, with Michelle and
afterwards.
Huh?
And then we had drinks afterwards.
Oh, yes, we did. We did. I got to experience something very new and fun.
So, yeah, no, thank you for having me. This was really fun. Of course, if you have questions on anything, I always tell people like there's no stupid question other than the one that you don't ask. So feel free to reach out to me, whether social media, on my email, you can call me, text me, call me. I hardly ever pick up my phone, but email is always the best. That way there's a trace. Text message, you'll probably get me within a few hours, sometime a day or 2.
What is and it could be your own product, but what is your favorite product? It can be beauty or health related, and why?
I would say a really good moisturizer, and I can't decide on one. I have to say 2. So Bobbi Brown's hydrating, like the best moisturizer, and it's actually really well priced. She has a bunch of like repair moisturizers for those of you who they're super dry. I would recommend her line is incredible. And then the other moisturizer that I really, really like, especially for those that are dry and even those that aren't, is the Tatcha water cream. It's not for everyone, but it's amazing.
What is one thing that you do, beauty or health related, that's kind of your self-care that keeps you sane, especially during this time?
So beauty related.
Beauty or health? Beauty or health?
I would say I wash my face at nighttime. That'll help you prevent breakouts. You have to wash your face. Don't ever go to sleep with your makeup on. It's terrible. I know a lot of people, even when you party too hard, you're like, I'm going to bed. No. But anyways, wash my face because you get a lot of pollution. Like your skin pulls the air and there's toxins sitting on your face. And so when you go to bed, if you're like me that gets all crazy with the pillow, all of that stuff's being worked into your skin and it's clogging in your pores. So the cleaner, the better. What
is a book, a podcast, or an educational piece that you can share that's helped you along your journey, or that you listen to, or you know?
It's such a great book. This one, and then I think I have my other one, Face Paint. Is it Face Paint? Yeah, Face Paint by, sorry, they're propping up my plants. Face Paint by Lisa Eldridge.
Why should people choose you? Why do people choose you? Sell yourself.
I always get my personality. People are like, oh my God, you're so much fun and you're reliable. That 100%. I'm always there on time, no matter what it is. I think I've only been late once in the 12 years that I've been in business. I am reliable. Even if I'm like sick, like dyed, I will be there and I will paint your face. I mean, now with the circumstance of the whole COVID situation, that might be a little different. We see how the industry's gonna take that. I will educate you into not wanting sometimes what you want. Meaning, if it's not gonna favor you, I'm not gonna do it. I'd rather do something similar that is going to complement your eyes or your face structure or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, it's a representation of my work. It's the only form of advertisement. So I don't just work for the money. I work to make you happy and keep you, you know, as a client for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Ernesto, for coming on today and sharing all your wisdom. Again, love you. You're my
This was a
favorite.
lot of fun. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, you guys, go check out Ernesto at Graffiti MA on Instagram. He'll have links to all of his websites there, or Graffiti Glam. And then your makeup website, is that Graffiti
MA.
MA.com. Perfect. And graffiti is spelled
GRAFFITIMA. Graffiti Ma.
Perfect. Wonderful. Well, thank you again, and have a fantastic day.